about that first-round draft pick there, Ryan Encinas, scoring the winning touchdown tonight? It was great to be back in the stadium. For me personally, it's been a little bit of a while, and the energy was great out there. The fans were awesome. We had a great turnout, and we're going to need them down the road. I've been pleased with the last 4 days of work. We've really made some improvements. We have to continue to work on being consistent, but there's time here, and heading into this next week, getting a chance to go in that preseason game and give guys a chance, an opportunity to do it in a game situation. We tried to simulate as many of those things this past 4 days, and including tonight, introducing a couple different situations and putting those guys, hopefully exposing them to what we want to do in those situations during the games when they come up. Take questions.
So is your install finished at this point, or just for this first game?
It's never really finished 100%. We'll do a little bit on Monday from an install standpoint, but most of the bulk of the install is in, and there's always things that even on a game week that you may put in and adjust, but the bulk of the install is in these 2 weeks.
Chad, it looked like Brandon and Devon Best really were hooking up tonight. Could you talk about that and really how they've done since camp started?
Yeah, I think just going back with Devon, I mean, what a great pickup for us, and I couldn't be more pleased with what he's done, both on the field and then off the field, and the example he sets and the leadership that he's shown. He's able to get open and finds a way to get open. It seems like every play, and I can't be more pleased with him.
It seems like since the pads have gone on, the pass rush has picked up a lot to be able to hit up there. How good is that going to be, not just for them, but for Brandon to have to face that every day in practice?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing it today, those guys were pretty amped up, and they were getting after it. It's good all around. I mean, the competition that it's creating and making us better up front on our offensive line as well. But to see those guys coming after you, that's what you're going to get in this league. So you need to get used to it, and that group that we have is applying that pressure.
Craig Robertson seems to be flashing in that regard over the past few days.
He's flashing in a lot of different ways, and his pass rush on pressures, he's able to cover, really just playing solid football right now.
Chad, there's still a lot of guys that can compete to return the kicks. You've had a lot of different guys throughout camp, and then tonight you used a bunch of different guys. Is that one of the still big question marks?
Yeah, that's a area where we have a number of guys right now, and we have to whittle it down. We're giving those guys all chances, and they have to be able to catch it and then do something with it and protect the ball. And we'll pare it down, and in these preseason games we'll get good opportunities for those guys to show what they can do.
How valuable was it to just get to see the kickers go head-to-head in the stadium for the first time?
No, it's good, and we've been trying to put them in situations like that in practice, and then being able to do that in the stadium. The dueling kickers theme, I guess, that we've had every other day in some form or fashion. We're trying to put them in those situations to create that type of pressure on them, and obviously coming down here to the stadium and in front of the fans was a good opportunity for them as well.
How do you think you'll work those guys in preseason, Chuck? Were you one guy one game, one guy the other game, or just throw them in there whenever?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that going into this week, tomorrow, and then Monday we'll prep for exactly what we're going to do plan-wise with them. You want to make sure that they get enough kicks. That's the key. So sometimes you lay out a plan in terms of one guy 1 quarter and another guy or a half, and you just have to be careful because the opportunities don't come up. So we'll lay out a plan to make sure that they get the opportunities. It may be one game, it may be so many kicks in a game, and then carries over to the next game. But we'll make sure that they're getting opportunities.
Would you say that your defense is ahead of your offense right now, and if so, is it significantly a lot more?
Well, typically this time of year that's the case. It takes a little while for an offense to gel, and all the parts, all the moving parts to come together. And in my experiences, you just keep working, you keep pushing them, you keep putting them in the situations, and then it starts clicking. And we haven't gotten to that point where we're clicking yet offensively, but it'll come.
Do you have a set number of plays for your first teamers yet, Chuck, going into this first game? Will you decide this week, or is that still up in the air?
We will. We'll decide this week. Some of it will have to do with, health and that type of situation, as well as there'll be different guys on the first team that'll get different numbers of reps. Some guys on that first group need more reps than maybe other guys, so it'll vary by individual.
Have you decided whether Richardson will even play in that game?
I have not. I'm expecting him. We're going to work him back into practice on Monday, and we'll go from there.
Has it been hard to get the continuity offensively when, Josh Gordon's been in and out and Trent's been in and out, Monterio? Is that a factor in some of the not clicking thing?
It may be a little bit. It can be. I think overall, you have a lot of guys that were competing, and so you have multiple faces in the huddle. So it's a matter of the competition. The guys that we're trying to get reps to, a few guys being out and injured, but it usually takes time. So it's not anything that's unusual, and we'll keep working through it and working to be more consistent.
Did this
In
practice?
terms of X's or O's, but just the excitement factor of that first game, have you started thinking about it, or are you getting juiced up for it?
Oh, absolutely. It'll be great. And like I said, it was great coming out here, and hadn't been here for a long time, but just the energy and just going through the tunnel and coming out that first minute there was exciting. And went down to the dog pound. I had a few high fives down there, but the preseason game, the first one will be even more so, and obviously when we get into the preseason, it'll be that way as well. But I got a job to do at the same time.
Did this practice feel different than what at the facility? Like there were a couple of drop balls that feel maybe because the atmosphere is a little different.
Yeah, it's good to get out in front of a crowd. It's good to get out, at night and be in the center stage, so to speak. So that opportunity for these guys, and especially the young guys, especially a lot of guys that maybe haven't played a lot, is really a good experience for them, and it gets them a little bit more ready to go to a game and play it on Thursday.
With the first game coming up so quickly, how concerned are you that you just don't feel like it's kind of clicking yet for you offensively?
Again, I think we're about where typically you are a lot of times in training camp from an offensive standpoint. You go into the game, usually you're going to do some good things. You're going to do some things that are good coaching points that the guys can learn from, and you work to keep improving throughout the preseason and get yourself ready and be ready to play September 8th against Miami.